beast stalker, giant stalker, dragon stalker, crypt stalker, demon stalker, rift stalker, grom stalker, crypt stalker, scourge stalker, wind runner. I'm a pony, lead skill hunter, a death dealer, a life stealer. That's just the cost of being awesome.
Welcome to episode 265 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I am Darbkrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from thrillthewild.com and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak Wow on Twitter.
All right, today is Monday, November 27th, 2017, and we are broadcasting live on twitch.tv. You can participate in the live chat room where our lovely moderator, Ali Sonder, is there to take your questions. And hey, we did it. This is what, 2 in a row on a what feels like a semi-regular schedule here.
Woohoo!
So pat on the back for that achievement here. But it's good. It's good to get behind the microphone once again and talk hunters and World of Warcraft. And so we got some things happening this week. The new raid comes out tomorrow because we're recording this on November 27th. So it opens its doors on November 28th. World of Warcraft just turned 13, so why don't we start off with that a little bit? I can't believe it's been 13 years of World of Warcraft, and I think all of us have been there since the beginning, if not right from the beginning, pretty darn close to it.
World of Warcraft is now old enough to sign up for accounts online. That's all I could think of that was meaningful about turning 13. Though.
That's right. Yeah, well, it's right. It's in its teenage years. It's like the terrible teens. It's I guess
it's enough to go to the junior prom.
Right, it'd be in middle school, so you'd just be kind of like, oh God.
The 8th grade dance.
Yeah. Just breaking up pimples and all that kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, 13 years, that is a long time. I don't think there's any video game out there that I have played for this long and this consistently as World of Warcraft. I was thinking about that earlier today, and I could not think of one, and mainly because, prior to this, a lot of things were played on consoles. But even with like the new version of a game every year, I think the closest thing I could think of was maybe like the Madden football series, and I haven't played that in a long time, and I don't think I made it 13 straight years of that.
Well, for me, I've been playing Civilization for longer than World of Warcraft, but hours played probably World of Warcraft, is because there's so much time spent in an MMO, no matter how long a Civ game is.
Yeah, my slash played, I think, for Darbkrew alone, and I have some other characters that I put in some time. It's frightening to look at.
Are you over a year on one character?
Not yet. I'm close though. I'm like 315 days. I am closing in on a year, and I mean, I probably I'm a little bit almost surprised that I'm not over a year. I'm sure there are people that are well over that, but that's literally like almost a year of my life behind the keyboard, logged into World of Warcraft and playing that game. That's unbelievable. How about you guys? Where do you guys sit with that right now? Approximately.
I don't know.
It's hard to say because my first 5 characters all got deleted. So I'm looking.
It should still have a total also. I just looked up Skyrim thinking that's a really old game that I still play, but nope, it came out in 2011. Not even close.
And how about you, Bendak? I mean, you've been here right since the beginning as well.
Yeah, my slash played is, I don't know, I don't even want to look at it.
5 billion.
Right?
Honestly, I think it's close to 400 total.
Wow. Yeah, that's not surprising for someone that's been playing since the beginning, since launch. I mean, like I said, I've just had some few bits of downtime here and there. Like my slash played for level 110, I think is minuscule. It's like 22 days or something like that. I was like, yeah, that's probably about as low as at any given level that I can remember in a long time. Yeah, I just haven't been playing it that much recently. And it's not that Legion is a bad expansion. I think they did a pretty good job with it. I mean, especially compared to Warlords of Draenor and even Cataclysm, I think is a better expansion than those. But yeah, so it's down there, and that's part of the reason why I haven't hit a full year yet. But yeah, but it turns 13, and there's every indication it's going to at least get to 15. I don't know if it can make it to 20, but
It'll make it to 20 for sure.
yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't see why not, especially since they're doing that WoW Classic server, right? I mean, of course, on the one hand, that might be a perfect way to end sort of World of Warcraft if you were getting ready to shut it down, would be to have this classic server out there and sort of end everything where it all began and just have this one classic server available for us to all jump to.
That's something I thought about with the new expansion release, with the kind of going back to basics, no big bad, possibly. It's like, if they are looking at a WoW 2 or to revamp something or shut something down, it wouldn't be a bad direction to go, but who knows? I hate to see a I don't know, game that was this kind of important to the industry, I don't know, fade into nothingness. I hope they don't just keep it going until it's a worthless game, but they, say goodbye at some point. I don't want to see Michael Jordan on the Wizards. That's what I'm saying.
I know. I was a Wizards fan too. So it was like, it's like, oh wow, we got Michael Jordan. That excitement lasted maybe 1 or 2 games, and then the reality set in that it's not the Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls, is it?
Well, I have 3 games, three alts that each have around 100, 110 days played, and my top hunter has 145 days played. So I play too much World of Warcraft.
It's easy to do, and it's just amazing to see that. But yeah, I think it'll get to 20. I don't know how long they'll keep doing expansions and things like that. I guess as long as the people are interested in playing and they have ideas to drop in there, I guess we'll just continue to see it grow and grow and grow. I just don't know if MMOs like this are something we're going to continue to see more of as time goes by. That's I don't know about that.
I wouldn't think so, because the sheer number of people that you need to create this and keep it running at all times is pretty immense, and keep the new content coming. And they're also dealing with the old code problem and the gearflation problem. They've got lots of built-in problems that they haven't solved yet, and they are going to have to, or otherwise, when they get up to the 10th expansion, we'll be leveling through Classic in like 5 minutes, because the XP gain will be so fast that it'll just be crazy.
So we need like a level squish.
Yeah, or they're supposed to make everything our level, but how long are we going to be at that level anymore, I guess? I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know how the level scaling or whatever you want to call it is going to work. I do like that as a concept, though. I mean, because you'll still, it's not going to keep you from leveling up quickly so much as it will just make sure that you don't outgrow the content at that pace. Although I don't know how well that'll work out, but that's the idea. You can just
the idea wasn't to make leveling take longer. It was just to make it so you do less zones, but you do the whole zone. Instead of a tiny little taste of every zone, you go all the way through. But leveling still takes the same amount of time that it's always taken. Or, has for the last few expansions.
well, I don't really like the idea, because I like to outlevel things so that I can go back through a zone if I want to. And
Right, they said that
not
was still
worry
going to
about
happen.
anything.
Yeah, you'll still be able to do that. It's just
No, you
so.
won't,
Sure,
because
yeah, they said the zones will
everything's
still
gonna
have a
scale
cap.
by level.
No. Like,
No.
for example, Westfall, they said might only be good through level 30. So, for example, if you're between 1 and 30, you'll be fine. But once you get past level 30, that's where they're going to sort of cap a certain zone. So if you're level 40, you go to Westfall, well, you're going to be 10 levels higher than everything else. And then once you're max level, you'll just be able to go there and stomp everything like you can now. So it's not going to scale all the way to max level. They're not doing that.
No, I think they said that the old world was all going to scale to level 60.
Right.
Right, but
Right.
if you're at max
that-
level,
Which
that
I
was
play a
only
lot of
certain
characters that aren't.
But I didn't think every
Very
zone. I think the old world was going to cap at level 60, but not every zone was going to go to
Yeah.
level 60.
Well, I hope
okay,
not.
this is what I think's happening. Every classic zone will scale from 1 to 60, but whether you're fighting something that's level 1 or level 60, it's still going to die in 1 hit if you're max level.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but I don't play always at max level. I play a lot of not leveled characters. because I'm not racing to the end game. That's the problem. When you're at end game, it doesn't matter what level anything else is because you outgear it. So it's for the people like me that are playing lower level characters and not trying to race through it all to get to the end, are actually trying to enjoy the content, which is the whole point.
Wouldn't this make you enjoy the content though? Because you could level through any zone you want and still have
I
it
can
give
do
you
that
relevant
anyway.
XP.
What they need to do is leave it the way it is, but if you out level the storyline, you can still do it, but instead of getting XP as your reward, you're now getting things like XP tokens, which it doesn't matter what level you are. Like we get them, like off our tables, those kind of things. Or you get other kind of rewards like I hate to say artifact power, but an artifact power like reward, so that even though you're not getting XP anymore, maybe because a quest is grayed out for you or a zone is grayed out for you, you are still getting something from it in the form of power or like an XP token, which is still going to give you XP, even though the quest itself won't give you XP. If that makes any sense. There's just easier ways that they could fix this problem, I think. But to be honest, if you want to finish a zone to see the full story, that's the reward, not the XP for it. That's probably why I have so many characters that are not max level.
Right. Although I think part of leveling up the character and going through the story is that little bit of the challenge that you get from fighting those mobs and things like that. I mean, there's something to that. I mean, if you just one hit everybody, I'm not saying it's not going to be easy, especially with the BOA gear and so forth. But if it's too easy, then it doesn't feel like it's worth doing at all,
Yeah, but when
regardless of
you're
the story.
fighting like some harvesters out in Westfall, you're not really concerned about that, And if you want to level fast, you're going to just jump in dungeons anyway.
Mhm.
You're not going to be out questing, except for if you're DPS and you're just waiting for a queue to drop, then you might be out questing a little bit. But if you're just out there questing to see the quests, it's different.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some benefit in having even the people who are trying to get to max level still get to experience some story.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
they've got to do something because it's floundering right now.
well, that's the other thing is I have been playing for so long with so many hours played that spending 45 seconds swinging at some wolves or some bandits or whatever at a fire elemental somewhere in the blazing lands, it's just you're not really interested. I would rather just one hit it and move on, because collecting the 10 zeros is not the fun part. It's moving past that to see what she wants you to do next, if you know what I mean. The
Yeah, I think
combat is not that exciting.
that's a fair point in that, yeah, except when you are a completely new player, the combat isn't, very meaningful. And I think starting in MOP, they started putting some interesting rares that actually had mechanics. But yeah, pretty much everywhere else, it's just hitting it more times instead of once or twice, but with no risk of death ever.
Especially at low levels when you only have one, maybe two, maybe three buttons to press, honestly. On my iTunes character, we rate at level, and when we were doing Wrath content, basically my rotation was 3 buttons. And that was not very exciting. So at lower levels, when you've only got 1 or 2 buttons to press, well, but whatever, we'll see. And I expect that I'm going to be playing a lot on the classic server when we see that whatever classic ends up being defined as. I'm very much looking forward to that.
I do. I remember the very first time I was leveling, I had this interesting interaction, which had never occurred to me before, as I killed some rare, I don't know what it was, or even what level I was at, but somebody, maybe a mage or a shadow priest, some support class, was running around, and they got there like right as I was killing it. So, or I guess maybe that was just before multi-tagging was an option, something like that. So they didn't get the kill with me. And afterwards, they whispered me and asked, "Oh, how what mechanics did that have? How did you do that?" I don't know if they'd been running back and forth trying to kill it for a while, but it hadn't occurred to me that support classes have to think about those things. And
Yeah, you just sent it a pet.
Yeah, like, send my pet in, and then I killed it. What do
and
you
that
do?
was it.
So maybe that's the secret. You
Beastmaster.
just play too many hunters, Ali.
Well, for a long time, people said we were the easy class, but I
Yeah.
don't feel that we are. I feel some classes are harder, but I don't feel we're an easy class. Unless it's the easy to play, difficult to master kind of easy.
That was always kind of the mantra that was applied to hunters. Sort of, I remember that back in the day, is with just that, well, it's easy to play, but hard to master, which is always sort of a nice way to look at it. Yeah, and there's some truth to that, because there's obviously skills that we used to be able to do, like the chain trapping and things like that took some effort to make happen.
Stutter stepping, avoiding minimum range.
But
yeah, easy not to die, though.
Yes, exactly. So, but for the most part, if you're just out in the world, trying to level and so forth, having that pet made a huge difference, really made a world of difference, and made things so much easier to play. That's why I remember hitting level 10 was such a big deal when you were finally going to get the pet.
Raptor Strike. I'm so looking forward to you.
It's already back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in that. I'm just looking for the nostalgia. But back when I started WoW, I'd played EverQuest for 6 or 8 years, a long time. But the quests in WoW are different. And so I didn't know how to do the quest exactly. They didn't really explain it too well. So there was one of the first quests I got was to kill some people in a pumpkin farm. And I took it as this is a stealth mission to not get seen while you're in the pumpkin farm, while you kill things, not as just like Ramboing it. So I spent a good hour sneaking through a pumpkin patch, picking off my targets when they walked too far away from the rest of the guards. And I had a great time doing it, but that's not the way the quest was supposed to be done. But I always enjoyed it. I always remembered it because I enjoyed doing it so much. So there's that. You can play the game however you want to play the game. We're just used to playing it the way it's quote unquote supposed to be played. And but people can make the game out of whatever, especially we've got so much stuff now that you can do. You can play the game without actually ever playing the game by pet battles or archaeology or something like that. It's really kind of weird in a way.
I'm pretty certain that there's only one way to play the game. And speaking of,
and what would that be?
Wait, you're saying there's more ways to hunter than just raid?
I don't know if there are. I'm not aware of that. I've heard there's something called PvP.
I heard a rumor about
tales.
It. I don't know what it is.
I maybe even accidentally tried it once or twice, but not a whole lot.
Awesome.
But yeah, we do have this new raid, Antorus, the Burning Throne, coming out tomorrow. The raid schedule is November 28th. So normal and heroic difficulties, and then the following week, the mythic difficulty will be open, and as well as the raid finder first wing will open, and then looks like it's a pretty big gap between raid finder. I can't even say this. Raid finder wing 1, and then the second wing will open on December 19th. And then January 2nd for the third wing, and January 16th for the final wing of this new raid. So it's an 11 boss raid. What do we know about it so far? How's it looking for hunters? Does anyone know? I'm not too.
Will die.
Everything will die, or nothing will die, or will die.
Maybe all three.
Well, how fast do you think Roger's going to kill the final boss? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Week and a half?
Yeah, I'd say surely at least a reset. I'm gonna guess two resets.
How many times was the final pull last time? 530 something? 540? Something like that.
No idea.
I thought it was more than that for Kill Jaden. Wasn't it like
Yeah, I
700
think
or
it was
800?
quite a bit.
Yeah. But
Just,
as
like,
for the
make it content.
bosses, I've watched most of the fat boss videos, and I mean there's a lot of cleave again, so but not all of it's close together, which isn't that great for BM. But I imagine that's pretty good for marksman.
Hooray.
Although I know you were looking at the just kind of the preliminary DPS numbers, Bendak, for Beast Mastery, and it was not looking too great, was it?
Yeah, if you look at like the comparisons for the Sims, we're at the bottom, but we're usually always at the bottom. So, I mean, the reality is a little different, but
Yeah, it's always a little bit different, but I mean, and then again, how is the spread? I mean, that's the other thing to look at too, right? Like, there's always going to be, anytime you're ranking things, there's always going to be a top and a bottom, but how far apart are we from the top?
I think there's a spread of about on the Mythic Sims. There's like a spread of around 500 to 600k.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not ideal. It's never good to be that far apart.
Yeah, it's super problematic. I don't know why they've gotten so much worse at balancing.
I don't know what they're doing with the set bonuses either, to be honest. I guess they really are just trying to make you not care about them because they're going away.
Yeah, it seems weird, right? Because that was one of the things that was announced. It wasn't known. It was something that was announced since we did the last podcast, which that the tier set bonuses are going away in Battle for Azeroth. So this is the last tier where we'll have the gear that has the set bonuses. So maybe they were just trying to kind of use Beast Mastery as their test case of what life would be like without a set bonus. They just had to put something on there anyway, because that you've been complaining about it for quite some time now. I don't know how you feel about your marksmanship set bonus, but let's talk about the Beast Mastery for a minute. The tier 21 2-piece bonus, kill command damage is increased by 10%, and then the 4-piece bonus is when you use kill command, the cooldown of Aspect of the Wild is reduced by 1.5 seconds. And you looked at that, Bendak, and said, well, 10% increase kill command damage really isn't that much overall.
No, it's small, but it's a 2-piece, so I mean you can get away with it and just be like, okay, whatever. I assume the 4-piece is going to be something good, but the 4-piece is half as good as that.
Right? I mean, and we already had that trinket that kind of impacted Aspect of the Wild as it is. What was it? The Convergence of Fates, and I don't know where that will fit into this. Maybe by the time we get into here, we'll get rid of it or something. But if we've got it,
yeah, I mean, if you got a high level one, maybe you could come up with some build where you have that, and you have the bracers, and
right, the Call of the Wild bracers, yeah. Right.
And you could have some kind of interesting build there, but the set bonus doesn't make a huge difference in that case. It's like the trinket reduces it quite a bit more than the set bonus.
So if the set bonus doesn't matter, obviously you want to have at least your tier 20 set. You want to have some sort of set bonus rolling, I suspect. I'm just wondering, where do off pieces now seem a little bit more valuable than some of the tier pieces that we'll find in this new raid for Beast Mastery?
I think for Beast Mastery, you're still going to want your 6 pieces of tier. It'll probably, for a lot of hunters, it'll probably be 4 pieces of tier 20 and 2 pieces of tier 21. At least for like the first opening month or two, right?
Right.
But once you get much higher eye level, tier 21, obviously you're going to want to switch just because the eye level on the gear. But
which makes sense.
It's just too big of a gap. Like, there's just too much simming that you have to do as Beast Mastery nowadays. It's ridiculous. Like, the stuff that you think is going to be an upgrade is sometimes not even close to an upgrade. It's just so unintuitive.
Yeah, and it can't help that, we've got this mixing and matching now of set bonuses, which also has to complicate things a little bit too there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still using a Nighthold set bonus, and I probably will be using that for. I might even be using that for the next month still.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really what their plan was. It's not that there would be some low damage increases from set bonuses. It's just that it would be so confusing that everybody would hate them and want to not have them or welcome not having them.
Yeah, I don't know. Did they explain why they wanted to get rid of them? I mean, I can think of some reasons why. For it's
Well,
easy
yeah, they talked
for
about
them.
the what do you call it? The new Netherlight Crucible,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's called in the new. For those 3 pieces, they just said there would be enough new mechanics coming out every tier that it didn't matter. It would be boring tier sets going forward because all the interesting stuff will be happening in that new
And Elsplar,
AP.
well, that makes sense if they're transferring it to something different versus just sort of making life easier on themselves, right? So that they.
But yeah, I think the Blizz devs seem to be convinced that random Warforge and Titanforge is the best idea they've ever had. So, and tier bonuses just don't work with Titanforging in the mix.
No, they don't. So yeah, I'm glad to see them go. I figured like this is like the last tier bonus ever. Like final one in the expansion. Why don't just give us some fun things to play with or something, Like not like the most boring bonuses we've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, they make it be like some of those trinket procs or something interesting things that we've had in the past. Maybe transform you into something, and just even that just comes with a basic damage boost, right? Of some kind. It's just a flat out DPS increase for 10 seconds or something like that. But maybe it has some cool visual effect.
Yeah,
that
they could have
makes
used
it
it
kind
as
of
an
fun.
opportunity to like test like a new mechanic or something that maybe
Mhm.
works out and they can put it in the new expansion. Or yeah, even just something visual that's interesting. Like I know they've done it a million times, but summon a pet or something, just not this so boring set bonuses,
Yeah.
If you have your set bonus on, you can use the weapon enchants.
Sure. Probably more of a DPS upgrade than the current 4-piece.
Right.
And then
What's your 4-piece at? What is it? Oh, it's the 2 seconds off of aspect.
Actually, they nerfed it last week to 1.5.
Okay, 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah.
Even though it was already arguably the worst, except for Feral. I guess theirs is worse.
But Lee Arena in the chat room was asking if they were going to continue to have class armor like tier sets moving forward, even though they're not having set bonuses. I thought they were going to continue to do that, though I don't know if they've officially said anything.
I think what they said is it's just going to be, like the sets they had in Trial of Valor, how they're just based off the armor type. I think
Right.
it's more like that. But they said that since there's fewer sets, they'll be able to just spend more time on them and maybe make them more interesting.
Yeah, maybe like well, of course, I thought they kind of did this now anyway. Sort of themed it a little bit towards whatever the raid is that you were running. Something that reflected that.
Also, I think right now offset pieces, they're just like tier pieces, the same model.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this case, the offset pieces can be different models, like unique models. Because instead of making all those class sets, they can make different pieces of armor that go with the theme of the raid.
Which is nice. I mean, it's a trade-off, right? So the good thing, sometimes it's nice. On the one hand, if you get the off piece, it's going to match your set. But on the other hand, it's an opportunity you kind of miss out on getting some potentially different looking set or something unique. So yeah, I think maybe I kind of like the idea of it being something that maybe has a different look, almost like a different set.
There'll be other sets too, like they showed some of the Alliance and Horde themed sets that you'll get from War Fronts and stuff like that.
That'll be fun. I don't think we've ever had enough of those types of sets. I think those are kind of fun sets. I kind of like to see, like I said, Alliance themed sets or even Horde themed sets, just things that maybe have like the Lion Shield, or I mean, they've done few items like that with some cloaks, like they've had like the Ironforge cloak and things like that. But I'd love to see sets that maybe reflect the Alliance in general, or even more just the different races that are out there, like the dwarves and the gnomes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I do like the
Well-
idea of the sets being themed around the raid, because I like when they have like those 1 or 2 special items that are like it's a piece of armor or a weapon that's like the boss is using, and you can get it. It would be, I think it'd be cool if they did more of those.
Well, we do tend to wear the head literally of the people we kill, like Shanox. But I don't think they'll be able to theme something for a faction, because no one wants the Orc Warrior to be wearing the Alliance shield or something like
do.
that.
Can't we all just get along?
You're like a spoils aware. I want to. Well, we definitely hunters definitely need like a Sylvanas outfit.
We kind of just had one.
Yeah, tier 19, right?
Where were you? That's
I
that
guess
22 days.
Yeah, that's
played.
22 days played, right? So yeah. Was it leathery looking like that? I'll have to go look it up now. How the mighty have fallen. Sylvanas outfit, but yes. All right. So who else? What other? Maybe we'll need one of her sisters' outfits or something like that,
One of the Dark Huntresses. That would be nice.
or a dark iron dwarf of some kind, armor of some kind. Which I think we are going to get that. Well, we will get that if we
Only if you're Dark Iron.
Yes.
I'd like a helm that's just a like a strap-on beard that's on fire. So we can all be sort of, maybe that could be a Halloween, or what do we call it, Hallows Eve event.
That sounds like a trinket for like a toy box kind of a thing. But that would be cool if we all got the fiery beard.
Oh yeah, Zandalar. That'd be a great set. Though we've already kind of had it with that one legendary. Actually,
one
did
was
we
that?
have a full Zandalar set back in when was it? In TOT-ish? Throne of Thunder? There was a Zandalar set?
There was like a troll set from there, yeah.
The original Zandalar stuff you could get from doing the Reputation before they took that out. It wasn't a complete set, but it was, I want to say, like a dress and some shoulders and maybe a glove or something like that. There were several pieces to it, but it wasn't a complete set.
I'm kind of sad that I never got around to getting troll shoes.
You still can.
Oh, you can? I thought it was only for that short time.
No, you still can. You just have to do a horde and go through the battle. Watch Varian get killed.
Yes.
Or at least go through the first part of it and pick up the troll shoes on your way through. Then you can kind of cancel out of the rest of it, actually.
Huh.
Because when you get on the boat, it says, "You look like you've done this before. You want to do this again?" You're like, "Nah." Keep your troll shoes.
Well, okay. I'll go do that.
I may have done this recently again.
So what
I
else
do
do we
a
have with
question
the...
for you guys, though.
Oh,
For the trivia that we've been doing for the past 2 weeks, what is the name of Loquanok's mate? I can never get that question right.
Harkoa.
Oh yeah, Harkoa. Yeah.
Harkoa. Okay, thank you.
that's
Asking for a
from
friend.
the 13th birthday thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't see that. I haven't seen that question yet, but all right.
Yeah, I only did it once.
I've got 40 characters that I'm leveling through it, so I see it a lot.
You get XP for that?
Yes, tons of XP.
Weird.
Up to at least like the 30s and 40s, you're still getting like a third of a level, half of a level of XP for question. So yeah, it's definitely good. And that's just the question alone. That's not doing the nightmares and Kazakh and all that stuff, which we should probably talk about like later. But sorry, back to your raid. Sorry.
Nah, I don't have any tips yet, so we'll have to
Yeah,
go over that next time.
nor do I. Just that there's an 11 boss raid. Although this is the final. This is the final raid of this expansion, correct?
Presumably.
Yeah.
Unless
That
they
is what
do a
we're
mini
told.
one boss,
I
or
don't know.
they're
Something
hiding
like
something
why
in
are we fighting
Silithus.
like Sargeras? Are we just never ever going to fight Sargeras, or do I just not understand
Well, we are.
how
He's
this works?
Well, spoiler alert.
Well,
but
okay.
we
Well,
are.
you don't have to spoil everything. I'm just curious. I just don't see a boss named Sargeras. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. That's why I had to say a spoiler alert before I said we are killing him. Or at least we're fairly certain that we are in Mythic.
Well,
I don't know if that's
as these
cryptic
things
enough.
always go, we never kill him. Somebody with a famous lord name does.
I thought it was imprisoning him, or is that something else?
Oh, it might be, but I think we're fighting him. And lots of people think we're fighting him. Perhaps only
Maybe
to
we'll fight his
imprison.
toenail again. Hey, everybody loved it the last time we fought a boss's toenail.
Always.
But yeah, I was just curious. Like I said, I've stayed away from some of the spoilers, so I don't know
Sorry.
where he fits into there. And that's fine. It's not a big deal. I just didn't see a boss like named Sargeras on the list. Like, wouldn't that make sense to kind of finish things? That would be a great way to finish off the Burning Crusade. Unless they just want to have them haunt us forever. Like we'll never ever be rid of the Burning Crusade. They just disappear for like a few thousand years and then come back when they feel like it.
When I first saw that it was presumably Mythic only, it kind of made me happy. Even if we completely fail this tier, which might happen, it's not unheard of, and don't get it in the long tier. It's still, I don't know. There's something satisfying of it being like that big of a boss being only accessible to the hardest of hard fights.
Right. Until a couple expansions later when you can just go in there and solo it, but which will all do.
Point we're better than the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a thought, though. Is like in the Emperor Cho'Gall kind of thing. There could be a Mythic only thing that happens that we don't know about, where Sargeras does show up, that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah, we pretty well know about it.
Okay, well, I've been avoiding spoilers too, so I don't know. I have some theories, but I don't know. Waiting for the cinematic to be leaked.
So there's changes to legendary items as well. We've got listed here. They're going to be now what level 1? Item level 1,000 1,000.
1 million.
1,000. 1 million. Is that what are they going to be way up there? And
I've got to do a bunch of sims tonight to see what I upgrade first.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, and that's right. There's going to be a quest to upgrade the current legendaries, just like they've done in the past, and then all the new legendaries will drop at the new level.
Yeah, it's fun to think about, though. A lot of simming if you want to actually know the answer, but presumably you'd want anything with bonus stats on it, like the healing armor that has both agility and bonus secondary stats would upgrade first.
Yeah, I was thinking Pride As because I use that right now.
Yeah, Pride As versus something like, well, for Pride As has great stats for us, and once you get used to a single target fight, it can be a really great bonus if you don't need the movement help from the other two single target options. So I'm wondering about if I'll want to upgrade that, or upgrade the wrists, or not wrists, or the hands, whatever I use for single target movement buff. Or if I want to upgrade the boots, since I wear those on every fight, basically, regardless of whether it's AoE or single target. Somebody should just tell me. Maybe there's a chart out there somewhere.
So
who's in charge of these things?
Here's a question for you. Speaking of the legendaries, so I guess we're gonna have the insignia of the Grand Army as the new ring, legendary ring. That one does count against your 2 legendary limit, and then there's the legendary that's not a legendary, the Amanthal's wisdom, which is the new version of the Arcano Crystal, right?
I have a feeling that trinket's going to be I just feel like there's going to be so much drama surrounding it. I'm just waiting for like the complaints on Reddit and forums about like it's not dropping or someone else got it.
Well, first off, it only drops in normal and up, right? You cannot get Amanthal's Wisdom in Rainfinder, if I remember correctly.
Right. It drops to normal and up, but we don't even know if it actually drops. We don't even know how you get it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because like someone asked that in the last Q&A, and Ian was like, "Well, you just have to wait and find out how you get it."
Great.
I don't know about anybody else, but I plan on G quitting the first time it drops and doesn't go to me. That's the right answer, right?
So, but do we want to talk a little bit about Insignia of the Grand Army? Because that one seems like it might have some value. Yes, no.
I think if you know your character's new and you don't have many legendaries, there's a good chance it might actually be a good one for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've already got most of the legendaries, I imagine there's probably better options.
Okay.
And it also depends on what traits you have from the Crucible.
Yeah, I think that's the part, because if for those people who are listening and aren't familiar with the ring, it's a ring with a special text that says the effects of your Netherlight Crucible or traits are increased by 50%, and we have a couple of tier 2 traits that are pretty good, right? Comparable to, but yeah, I guess it's it's a sim game again, right?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that ring you get from a quest for killing the final boss. So if you're doing that on normal, theoretically you could get it tomorrow. But if you can only do Raid Finder, you have to wait till January 16th.
Yeah. But still, it's pretty good. It's got crit, haste, mastery, and a socket as well.
Yeah, the stat budget is the same as any other legendary ring. It's just spread across 3 stats instead of 2.
Huh. So it'll be significantly less than the others. Or are you saying it has the bonus that Cephus has? Like the extra stats for being...
It has the same total number of stats. They're just spread out over 3 instead of 2.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, I don't know, if you had like, for BM, if you had Shock Light on all 3 of your relics, maybe that ring could actually be a good option. I don't know, I haven't actually simmed that.
Or I was thinking Mythic Pluses, or wait, is Shock Light the one that does AoE? No.
No, that buffs your crit when your Concordance goes off.
That's right. What was the one that was AoE 8-yard explosion thing?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget what it's called.
Something in the darkness or something. Anyway.
Chaotic Darkness?
No, is that it?
Secure in the Light, Torment the Weak are some of the better ones.
Well, let me just pull up Bendak's guide here.
So for MM, I don't actually know what the BM numbers look like in the slightest. But for MM, at least the best tier 2, whatever that Netherlight bonuses are maybe a 1.5% increase. I think I've got here one. Well, mine are a little weird because I have strange stats, but I've got a 1.55 in Hectic Ad Cleave and a 1.51% increase in single target. So even when you add 50% to each of those, it's still not adding up to a very big overall increase compared to something like getting an extra true aim or whatever in your fight.
Right. I guess it just, if you had 3 of those traits that gave you 1.5% damage, then it might be a bit more.
Yeah. So I was thinking Dark Sorrows. Is that right?
Well, that one's horrible for me.
Yeah. But for BM, I guess, or for Mythic Pluses, I think that has some value.
Yeah, it's pretty decent in AoE actually. It's just for single target, it's not very good.
Mm-hmm. I do value. I do appreciate that they're giving us more tools, and this would be your first level 1000 legendary if you do get it tomorrow, right? If you happen to finish normal, uh, what is this? Antorus? Is that what we're shortening this
Yeah.
to?
If you finish Antorus,
Yeah.
you'll definitely upgrade one tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You get 20 from your cash, then you get, I don't know, what is it, like 5 to 10 from your emissaries, another 5 from heroic, and then 5 per boss or something like that.
Is there anything special we need to not do this time? I think I messed that up the last couple times.
No, I think they fixed most of that. Just it's too late at this point if you've done them, but don't do your Sunday and Monday emissaries.
I mean, I've done them. I just haven't turned them in yet.
Right.
I assume that still counts.
I have a feeling I'm going to be upgrading these for like months because I have all the hunter legendaries now. I don't even know how many that is.
Ouch. I still don't have all of one spec. Goodness.
How did that happen? I'm surprised.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
It's just bad luck, or just
I don't know. I mean, I did take a little break in the end of the first tier, but not that long of a break. I don't know.
It might just be I do a lot more Argus because I'm foolishly thinking I'll get an Arcano crystal from the gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in my guild. I mean, I'm tied for first because there are several of us with. I think I was the third or fourth person to get 75 artifact traits. I've got, third or fourth, fifth, maybe fourth. Yeah, it looks like fourth total artifact power obtained. Fourth world quest done. One of the top raid kills. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Whoever made this audit of guilds is the spreadsheet. I don't know if everybody's seen that going around, but it's pretty wonderful.
No, you have to like that.
I'll put it in the Twitch chat if I can figure out the link for not my personal one.
So yeah, speaking of gear, we were talking about that legendary trinket. So we have no idea what's going to drop, but there is another trinket from the same boss. It's an epic one, but you have to upgrade the eye level every week, kind of like the legendary ring from WoD. It starts at 940 and you can upgrade it 5 per week up to 1000. And once you get that up to 1000, at least for BM, it's pretty close to the legendary. So at least you have that to fall back on.
And which one is that?
It's the Golganeth's Vitality.
Yeah, I see it here. So yeah, so it's your damaging abilities have a chance to create a ravaging storm at your target's location, inflicting a bunch of nature damage split among all enemies within 6 yards over 6 seconds.
Yeah, and it's got a bunch of agility on it, and the Pantheon proc is it makes your auto shots do AOE damage.
That's kind of neat. Did they say that the Pantheon procs are only going to be usable in raids? Is that something I heard?
Yeah, only in Antorus. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, only in Antorus. Okay, so it's bringing those back into older raids if you're still farming Mythic, whatever. TOS, that's not valuable anymore or won't happen.
Yeah, they kind of just gonna serve as like a slow nerfing, I think, of the raid. Because the more trinkets your raid gets, the more Pantheon procs you'll get.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So instead of like giving us 5% every week, or what was it, 1% every week up to 5, or was that 5% every up to 25 for Wrath of the Lich King? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Instead of that.
Yeah, the Pantheon proc basically, if you have to have at least 4 trinkets in your raid, and they have to proc their primary proc at the same time. And if 4 different ones proc at the same time, then you get the Pantheon proc.
Yeah, and were there sims done on average if you have 4, like average number of procs per raid, or per boss rather?
Yeah, Wowhead had a post on it, like saying how it scales with the number of trinkets in your raid. And I think once everyone like has their trinket, you get like 30% uptime or something on it.
Okay. Does it have an internal cooldown?
That's good. I don't think it does, but there'll be an internal cooldown on the primary one, which has to go up first.
Gotcha. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I think they said with the minimum number, there's still a possibility of 2 procs in a boss, in a like an 8-minute boss or something like that.
Yeah, something really low.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds interesting. Any other? I mean, I know you watch the videos. Any raid killers? Any mechanics that we as hunters need to be aware of?
Nothing's like off the top of my head. Like apparently, a lot of the mechanics you would normally soak, they're making it so that you can't soak them because they're trying to get over that stigma of Tomb of Sargeras.
Tomb of Soak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no beams that we all have to stand in, or no clumping up to absorb a big damage blast.
I'm sure there'll still be some soaking, but I don't know.
I just don't want them to do the darkness thing with Illidan. Please, no more of that. That was the worst. I mean, I think at first the hunters could see where Illidan was, right? And then
yeah, we could use the tracking that worked in the beginning. I don't know if that.
Oh, it still works. The tracking, yeah.
Oh, it still does. Okay. Definitely did not pay attention to that, but yeah, like I don't like that.
I died to a lot last night. We were doing the meta achievement for that, which requires you to kill all of the darkness ads without them getting a cast off.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
So how many pulls did you do on that?
I don't know, there's quite a few. But I mean, you fail it pretty soon, so you can restart fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Though the maiden achievement took a lot longer.
I guess you were doing those in normal, I take it, or do you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just looking at the trinkets here. Aside from those Pantheon trinkets, a lot of the other ones are AoE trinkets. So that's kind of annoying. There's one trinket that's like a general trinket for single target or AoE called Shadow Singed Fang. It has 2 procs on it instead of any passive stats. Like it has agility proc and a crit proc. So it sounds cool, but then you sim it and realize that, your 930 Cradle of Languish is just as good as a 960 of this.
Yeesh. Oh, speaking of 960s, I guess there's one more thing to talk about next week when Antorus opens up. The Mythic Pluses. They're uncapped, or they're upping the cap from 10 to 15 on gears dropped, And
Is that next week or the week after?
I think it's next week.
Okay, tomorrow your chest will still be capped at 10, but
Mm-hmm.
you can do your 15 next week to get the bigger chest the following week.
Yeah, so the first chest
Coolio.
that you can get the plus 15 rewards in is the chest on December 5th. But I think starting tomorrow, the mythic plus 15s can drop eye level, what is it, 940 gear? And those can Titan Forge, obviously. And I think that's capped at 985, if I'm reading this post right.
Oh, so they are going to be able to get the 940s from the end of boss next week?
Yes, I believe it's next week. I'm not 100%. The reading on this is it's a little weird. So
you're saying I should do my Mythic Plus tonight?
well, the plus 15 won't do you any good tonight, but tomorrow, I believe you can get 940 gear from bosses.
Well, sounds good.
Yep.
And on that note, I think that's about all we got for tonight.
Wait, we have one more important piece of business to go around.
Oh, what is that?
I think everybody's got to say how many 75 level weapons they've got.
Oh, jeez.
Everybody got all 3? Ready to raid?
What? Did you just ask if we have all 3 at 75?
I think that's physically impossible right now, right?
I personally only have 1, but I thought maybe you guys were more hardcore than that.
Maybe between like the 5 of us here, we have 3, but I don't know.
If we added all of our artifact power together, maybe we'd have 3.
Wow.
I mean, what is it right now for your you're at 75, right? How much artifact
On the
power?
MM weapon.
Yeah.
I think it's 221 billion for the 75th.
Oh my god.
But now I'm back to working on my SV weapon, and it's amazing. It goes so fast.
Right when you're starting from 0 now, yeah.
Well, not quite starting from 0, but still. Yeah, getting those, 2.5 billion from a
Yeah,
regular
you get one
world
token,
quest.
and all of a sudden you filled out your whole tree.
Yeah, I just got 76 recently, and I think my next one is 400 billion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I assume there's not too much point, or they're attempting to make it pretty ridiculous after 75.
Mhm.
So you still get a slight upgrade, but even at the max AK, it's not going to be easy to get.
So how many more weeks of artifact knowledge increases do we get? 3?
2 more,
2?
I think.
Okay.
But in those 2 weeks, the artifact power you get will be basically, I think, about double what you get today.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so do your elite strike mission still, right? Was that 20 billion? Should be 22 billion at the end of this.
I think you can probably do more regular ones during the time it would take to do that big one.
Yeah, unless you have 2 or 3 with the whatever mission shortener that you can get. They're not really worth it. You can get it down to, a little less than a day. And then it's a nice bonus.
Yeah, get Addy. Addy, was it Fizzlebug?
Yeah, Addy's one I use, and
Mhm.
I don't know, one of the marksman hunters for me has it. But yeah. Bendak, are you only doing BM now? You're not going to put anything into MM or SV?
No, I'll put it in there once I get to the point where it's just absolutely pointless. And it's just going to take me like a month to do the next point. But I mean, the thing keeping me back from that is like just relics, basically. Like my MM weapon is so far behind an eye level, it's just not even consideration.
What's your BM sitting at?
977.
Ooh, fancy. I'm only at like 974 or 975. But yeah, my SV I think is 59, and my BM one is like, I don't know, 750. Something ridiculous.
750. You haven't even
No,
put a
that's
relic
not.
in it yet.
That's not true. I've put something in there. I just don't know what.
He hasn't unlocked the +5s from the Netherlight
Right.
Crucible yet.
I doubt I have. How high do you have to get those?
Was that 50? No, you get them. I think you just get them.
Oh, okay. I got it high enough to do the to get that pet.
Oh,
but that was it.
38? Was that 38 or 41?
I thought it was 52, but I don't actually know. Anyways, once I got my Wolfhawk pet, I stopped putting anything into BM.
Oh, geez. All right.
Well, I've been saving up treasures for how long have we been at this? 15 months now. So I'm just waiting for my maxed out artifact knowledge, and then I'm going to go treasure hunting crazy.
All right.
Go open all those boxes.
All the boxes.
Well, on that note,
All right. Yes. Well, I think that's it for today, which is good. So, in that note, as you said, you have been listening to episode 265 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I am Darbkrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from throwthewild.com and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak Wow on Twitter.
All right. Check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or at our RSS feed to your reader. And we have these links available in the show notes.
If you have a question or a topic you would like us to discuss on the show, email us at huntingpartypodcast@gmail.com or send us a tweet at huntingpartypod.
All right. Stay thirsty, my friends, and remember to drink your dark brew lager.
Siempre está la emoción de lo salvaje.
Keep your eyes on the beast.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
And for the Horde.
Or the Alliance.
Gross.
Life stealer, that's just the cost of being awesome sauce. A dues payer, a boss slayer, I rock out with my lockout Viper to cheetah to dragon hawk. No time to waste, cause I can jump shot. BM, MM, and SV. I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my tracks. I never miss, cause I am hit capped. Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. I'll top meters every fight. Landing in a cave, dealing death. Just me, my gun, and my trusty bed. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros. Which one have we killed the most? Kel'Thuzad to Malagos. We even killed Akama's ghost. Feels like we're getting close, all that running as a ghost. Anubarak, Yogg-Saron, Therian, Sartharian, Magtheridon, Saphiron, Lucifer to Sulfuron, Archelon, Amalon, Corellon, and Algalon. The faction champions, the death toll rolling on and on. Gar, Veil, Executus, Chromius, and Jarexus. None who will kill this. We won't stop till we kill our boss. I'm a hunter. I'm a hunter. I'm a hunter.